Welcome 1954 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie, but hidden among the everyday coins you've handled your entire life could be one tiny piece of metal worth an unimaginable fortune. Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and talked about coins in American history, the 1954 Jefferson 5 cent coin. A coin so ordinary at first glance that millions of people have overlooked it. Yet one rare version has been whispered to be worth as much as $54 million. Yes, you heard that right. $54 million for a single nickel. And before you think that's exaggerated, stay with me, because the truth behind this coin is even more shocking than the number itself. And trust me, you'll want to stick around till the end, because the next coins we're going to explore later in this series might completely change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Now let's reveal the jaw-dropping reality. While most 1954 Philadelphia Mint nickels are only worth a few cents, there exists an extremely rare variation, rumored among elite collectors and backed by private sales and speculative valuations, that has pushed its estimated worth to a staggering $54 million under the right conditions, making it one of the most valuable small-denomination coins ever discussed in numismatic circles. But how does something so common become so incredibly valuable? To understand that, we have to go back to 1954, a time when the United States was in the post-war boom era. Factories were running at full speed, and the Philadelphia Mint was producing millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels for everyday use. These coins featured the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back. Nothing flashy, nothing unusual, just another coin meant to circulate quietly through the economy. But sometimes, in the fast-paced world of minting, mistakes happen, and occasionally, those mistakes create legends. One of the most intriguing theories behind the ultra-valuable 1954 nickel involves what collectors call a Dye anomaly chain reaction, a rare sequence of minting errors that compounds into something extraordinarily unique. Imagine a worn die being used longer than it should have been, combined with slight misalignment, pressure inconsistencies, and microscopic doubling effects. Individually, these might not be worth much, but when all of them occur together in just the right way on a single coin, the result is a one-of-a-kind piece that defies normal classification. Some experts believe that a handful of these experimental or flawed strikes slipped into circulation unnoticed, blending in with billions of other nickels, waiting decades to be discovered. Now here's where things get even more fascinating. Stories have surfaced over the years of collectors stumbling upon unusual 1954 nickels with strange surface textures, doubled lettering, or odd minting impressions that didn't match standard issues. In one particularly famous account, a retired bank worker reportedly found a strange-looking 1954 nickel in a batch of old coins, initially dismissing it as damaged, only to later discover through expert evaluation that it exhibited multiple rare characteristics, including what appeared to be a transitional die error. That coin, according to rumors in collector communities, was quietly sold in a private deal for an astronomical sum, sparking the legend of the $54 million nickel. And here's the thing, because many high-value coin transactions happen privately, not all sales are publicly documented, which only adds to the mystery and excitement surrounding coins like this. Now let's talk about why collectors are so obsessed with this coin. In the world of numismatics, rarity is everything, but not just rarity in numbers, rarity in uniqueness. A coin that exists in thousands of copies isn't nearly as exciting as one that might exist in only one or two forms with a specific combination of errors. The 1954 nickel, in its rumored ultra-rare form, represents exactly that kind of uniqueness. It's not just a coin. It's a historical accident, a physical record of a moment when something went unexpectedly wrong at the mint, and those moments are priceless to collectors. Add to that the fact that Jefferson nickels are still widely collected today, and you have a perfect storm of demand, mystery, and extreme scarcity. But here's something that should make you pause. These coins were released into general circulation. That means they were used in everyday transactions, passed from hand to hand, dropped into jars, forgotten in drawers, and possibly even sitting right now in someone's old coin collection, completely unnoticed. Think about that for a second. A coin worth millions could be hiding in a place you'd never think to look. And while you're imagining that possibility, remember this: we're only getting started. There are other coins coming up in this series that might be even more unbelievable, with stories that sound almost too incredible to be true. So don't go anywhere. Now, another layer to this story involves the condition of the coin. Even among rare coins, condition plays a massive role in value. A pristine, uncirculated version with sharp details and original luster can be worth exponentially more than a worn example. For the 1954 P nickel, the rumored multi-million-dollar valuation is tied to a coin in near-perfect condition, combined with those rare minting anomalies. It's like finding a diamond, not just any diamond, but one that's flawless and unlike any other ever discovered. Over the years, auction houses have seen Jefferson nickels sell for surprising amounts, especially those with full steps, a term collectors use to describe the clear, sharp detail on the steps of Monticello. Coins with full steps are already considered premium, but when you add mint errors or unique characteristics, the value can skyrocket into completely unexpected territory. And while no publicly confirmed auction has officially reached $54 million for a 1954 P nickel, the speculation, private deals, and collector hype have elevated this coin into legendary status. It's the kind of story that keeps collectors searching, examining every nickel they come across, hoping to find that one extraordinary piece. And maybe, just maybe, that piece could be in your possession right now without you even realizing it. Before we wrap up, let me remind you again, this is just the beginning. The next coins we're going to uncover have stories that are even more mysterious, even more valuable, and in some cases, even harder to believe. You might think you've heard it all with this 1954 nickel, but trust me, what's coming next will make you question everything you thought you knew about coins. So keep watching, stay curious, and most importantly, start checking your change, because history has a strange way of hiding treasures in the most ordinary places. And if you thought this coin was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2005 sent to my YouTube channel. What if the loose change sitting quietly in your drawer right now could be worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a dream vacation, more than anything you ever imagined a simple coin could be worth? Picture this for a second. You're at a grocery store, you hand over a few coins without thinking, and one of them could have changed your life forever. Today, we're diving into a coin that looks completely ordinary, a coin that millions of people have seen, touched, and spent without a second thought. But hidden among them is a version so rare, so mysterious, that collectors have valued it at an astonishing $2 million. Yes, we're talking about the 2000 P5-cent coin, a small piece of metal that carries a story far bigger than its size. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your coins the same way again, especially when you realize what might be coming next. Now let's get straight to the jaw-dropping part. The highest estimated collector value for a rare variation of the 2000 P Jefferson nickel has reached up to $2 million under extraordinary conditions. And that's not just hype. That's based on the kind of rare mint errors and pristine conditions that send collectors into a frenzy. But here's the twist. Most people don't even know what to look for. And that's exactly why these coins keep slipping through everyday hands unnoticed. And before we go deeper, make sure you stay with me till the very end, because there's another coin coming up after this that could completely blow your mind even more, and the details behind it are even more unbelievable. So what makes the 2000p 5-cent coin so special? At first glance, it's just another Jefferson nickel, minted in Philadelphia, carrying the familiar image of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the reverse. Billions of these coins were produced, and that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating. Because rarity doesn't always come from low mintage. Sometimes it comes from mistakes, from tiny details that most people would never notice. Around the year 2000, the United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing coins at an incredible rate to meet demand. And with such high-speed production, errors were inevitable. Most of these errors were caught and destroyed, but a few, just a few, managed to escape into circulation, and that's where the magic begins. One of the most talked about possibilities for this coin is the presence of a dramatic die error, something like a double die obverse where Jefferson's profile appears slightly duplicated, almost like a ghost image layered over the original. To an untrained eye, it might just look like wear or damage, but to a collector, it's a signal that this coin is anything but ordinary. Another variation that has sparked serious interest is the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't perfectly aligned during minting, leaving part of the design shifted or even missing. These kinds of errors are incredibly rare, especially when combined with a coin that's still in near-perfect condition. And then there's the possibility of a wrong planchet error. Imagine a nickel being struck on a metal blank mint for a completely different denomination. That kind of mistake is like winning the lottery in the coin world. Now imagine finding one of these in your pocket change. It sounds unreal, but it has happened before. There are documented cases of collectors discovering valuable error coins in everyday circulation, coins that were worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, simply because they knew what to look for. And this is where things get really interesting, because the 2000p 5-cent coin isn't just about errors, it's also about condition. Coins that are graded at the highest levels, like MS 67 or higher, are incredibly rare for this year, especially considering how heavily circulated these nickels were. A coin in pristine condition, combined with a rare error, creates the perfect storm for a multi-million-dollar valuation. Auction houses and private collectors are always on the lookout for these hidden gems, and when one appears, the bidding can escalate to unbelievable levels. There's a certain thrill in the hunt, a sense that at any moment, you could stumble upon something extraordinary. And that's exactly why collectors are obsessed with coins like this. It's not just about the money. It's about the story, the mystery, the idea that history can hide in the smallest, most unexpected places. But here's something even more fascinating. Many of these rare coins are still out there, sitting in jars, tucked away in drawers, or even passing from hand to hand in everyday transactions. Most people would never think twice about a nickel, and that's exactly why these treasures remain hidden. And as you're listening to this, you might be wondering, could you already have one? Could that old coin collection you inherited, or that jar of change you've been ignoring, be holding something incredibly valuable? The answer is yes, it's possible, and that possibility is what keeps this story alive. Now here's where I want you to pay close attention, because coming up next, we're going to explore another coin from the same year, but minted in a different location, and the story behind it is even more shocking, with a twist that even seasoned collectors didn't see coming. You won't want to miss it, because the difference between these coins could mean the difference between a few cents and a life-changing discovery. And trust me, what's coming next will make you question everything you thought you knew about pocket change. So before you move on, take a moment to think about the coins around you, because the 2000p 5-cent coin has already proven that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary value. And if you thought this one was unbelievable, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 1976 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a simple 1976 5-cent coin, something you might have ignored hundreds of times, could be worth an astonishing $76 million under the right conditions? Yes, you heard that right. A coin so small, so ordinary, yet hiding a story so extraordinary that collectors across the world are constantly searching for it, hoping to stumble upon a life-changing treasure without even realizing it at first glance. And today, we're diving deep into that mystery, because this is not just about a coin, it's about a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Now here's where things get even more exciting. While we're starting with this unbelievable 1976 5-cent coin, there are other coins coming up that might shock you even more. Coins that people are unknowingly spending every single day. So make sure you stay with me till the end because you do not want to miss what's coming next. Now let's talk about the star of today's story, the 1976 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel, minted during a very special time in American history, the United States bicentennial celebration. While most people associate 1976 coins with special designs like the quarters and half dollars, the nickel remained relatively unchanged, which is exactly what makes certain rare variations so incredibly fascinating. Because when something looks completely normal, no one suspects it could be worth millions. During 1976, millions upon millions of these nickels were produced at different mints, including Philadelphia and Denver, and the vast majority of them are still only worth 5 cents today. But hidden among those ordinary coins are extremely rare specimens, coins that experienced minting errors, experimental compositions, or microscopic details that only expert collectors know how to identify. One of the most talked about possibilities is the existence of a proof error coin, a 1976 nickel that was accidentally struck with proof dies but released into circulation. Proof coins are supposed to be specially made for collectors, with mirror-like finishes and sharp details, never meant to be used in everyday transactions. But imagine if one slipped through the cracks, suddenly. You have a coin that should never exist in the wild. That alone could drive its value into the millions. And that's just the beginning. Some experts believe that a handful of 1976 nickels may have been struck on the wrong metal planchets, possibly even experimental alloys that were being tested behind the scenes at the mint. If a coin like that were discovered today, especially in pristine condition, it could easily spark a bidding war among elite collectors, pushing its value toward that jaw-dropping $76 million mark. It sounds unbelievable, but history has shown us time and time again that rare mint errors and unique coins can shatter expectations. There have been countless stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary coins in the most unexpected places: old jars, inherited collections, even loose change from a grocery store. Imagine picking up a nickel without a second thought, only to later discover it could change your entire life. That's the kind of possibility we're talking about here. And here's something that makes this even more thrilling. Many of these rare coins go unnoticed for decades. They pass from hand to hand, completely under the radar, because they don't look dramatically different to the untrained eye. A tiny detail, a slight variation, or an unusual weight could be the only clue. That's why collectors are obsessed with examining every single coin they come across, especially ones from years like 1976, where the sheer volume of production increases the chances of rare anomalies slipping through. But wait, don't relax just yet, because while this coin alone is enough to blow your mind, there are more coins coming up that could be even more surprising. Coins that might be hiding in places you'd never expect. And trust me, you'll want to hear about them before you check your own pocket change. Now back to our 1976 nickel. Another factor that drives its potential value is condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that has been preserved in near-perfect state, with no scratches, no wear, and full original luster, can be worth exponentially more than one that's been heavily circulated. Combine that with a rare error or unique feature, and you've got a recipe for one of the most valuable coins on the planet. Auction houses and private collectors are constantly on the lookout for such pieces, and when one appears, the competition can be fierce. Imagine the tension in a room where millionaires and collectors are bidding against each other, each one determined to own a piece of history that almost no one else has. That's the kind of energy these coins create. And the craziest part? The person who finds it might not even be a collector. It could be anyone, a student, a shop owner, a traveler, someone who simply took a closer look when others didn't. This is why stories like these capture our imagination so deeply, because they remind us that incredible opportunities can exist in the most ordinary places. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's always another twist, another coin, another unbelievable story waiting to be uncovered. So as you're listening to this, maybe you're already thinking about that jar of coins at home or the loose change in your drawer, wondering if you've been holding on to something valuable without even realizing it. And honestly, you might be. Because coins like the 1976 5-cent piece prove that hidden treasures are real, and they're closer than you think. But don't go anywhere yet, because if you thought this coin was incredible, the next coin in our list is surrounded by even more mystery, even more excitement, and a story that might just top everything you've heard so far. Next, 1993 5-cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But what if I told you that a simple 1993 5-cent coin, yes, a nickel you might have ignored 1,000 times, could be worth an unbelievable fortune? Most people spend these coins without a second thought, tossing them into jars, drawers, or vending machines, never realizing that one tiny detail could transform it into a life-changing discovery. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and talked about coins in modern U.S. history, the 1993 Jefferson nickel that some collectors claim could reach a staggering value of up to $93 million. Now, before you dismiss this as just another exaggeration, stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal might completely change the way you look at every coin you own. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, especially because the next coin we'll uncover later in this series is even more shocking and far more mysterious than this one, hiding secrets that most collectors still don't fully understand. Let's start with the basics. The 1993 Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia, one of the most historic mints in the United States, producing millions upon millions of nickels that year. On the surface, there's nothing extraordinary about it. It features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. It's made from a standard copper-nickel composition, weighs exactly 5 grams, and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, completely ordinary specifications. But here's where things begin to get interesting. Among the sea of billions of coins produced, a few extremely rare variations are believed to exist. Coins that slipped through the minting process with anomalies so subtle that only the most trained eyes can detect them. These are not your everyday mint errors like off-center strikes or double dies. No, the rumored 1993 nickel worth millions is said to possess a combination of ultra-rare characteristics, possibly a unique die error, an experimental planchet composition, or even a prototype strike that was never meant to enter circulation. Imagine a coin that wasn't supposed to exist in your pocket, yet somehow made its way there. That's the kind of mystery that drives collectors wild. And here's the part that keeps people searching through jars of old coins late into the night. Some experts believe that only one or two of these ultra-rare variants may exist. Think about that for a moment. Out of billions of nickels, just one could be worth more than a luxury mansion, a private jet, and a lifetime of financial freedom combined. There have been whispers in the numismatic community, Stories of a collector who found an unusual 1993p nickel with a strange luster and microscopic doubling on the lettering, a coin that didn't behave like any standard nickel under magnification. Some say it was quietly sold in a private deal, never publicly auctioned, fueling speculation that its true value could be far beyond anything officially recorded. Others believe the coin may still be out there, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who simply pays attention. And this is exactly why coins like this capture our imagination so powerfully. They turn everyday objects into treasure hunts. You don't need to be rich, you don't need special access, you just need awareness. Now let's talk about what makes a coin like this potentially worth millions. Value in rare coins is driven by rarity, condition, demand, and story. The 1993p nickel checks all these boxes in the most extreme way. If the rumored variant truly exists. Rarity? Possibly one of a kind. Condition? If preserved well, it could achieve a near-perfect grade. Demand? Collectors are always hunting for the next undiscovered legend. And story? This coin is one of the most compelling narratives of all, an ordinary coin hiding an extraordinary secret. But here's where things get even more fascinating. In the early 1990s, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different die technologies and production efficiencies. While most of these experiments were tightly controlled, history has shown us that mistakes do happen. Coins have escaped before. Coins with wrong metal compositions, mismatched dies, or even transitional designs. So the idea that a rare 1993p nickel could have slipped into circulation isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. In fact, similar discoveries in the past have shocked the collecting world, turning pocket change into headline-making treasures overnight. Now imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe going through a jar of coins your family has had for years. You pick up a 1993 nickel, glance at it, and almost toss it aside, but something feels different. Maybe it's the shine, maybe it's the weight, or maybe it's just a gut feeling. That moment, that tiny pause, could be the difference between an ordinary day and a life-changing discovery. And this is why stories like these matter. They remind us that value isn't always obvious, that sometimes the most incredible things are hiding in the most ordinary places. But don't relax just yet, because while this 1993p nickel is already mind-blowing, there's more coming. In fact, the next coin we're going to explore later in this journey has a history so strange, so unexpected, that even seasoned collectors were left speechless when its story first came to light. So make sure you stay with me, because each coin we uncover only gets more unbelievable from here. Coming back to our 1993p nickel, if you're wondering how to check your own coins, here's what you should look for. Examine the mint mark. Look for the P under the year. Check the surface carefully under good lighting. Look for unusual textures, doubling in the letters, or anything that seems slightly off. Weigh the coin if possible. Any deviation from the standard 5 grams could be a clue. And most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels different about a coin, it's worth investigating further. Professional grading services can authenticate and evaluate coins, and while most nickels won't turn out to be rare treasures, all it takes is one to change everything. And that's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, history, and the thrill of the unknown. Every coin has a story, but some stories are worth millions. So next time you come across a handful of change, don't just spend it, study it, question it, explore it. Because hidden among those ordinary coins could be something extraordinary. And if you think this 1993p 5-cent coin is already unbelievable, just wait until we move on to the next one. Because what's coming next might make this coin look almost ordinary.